What's poppin', everyone? You got your coach of the Gym Chargers here today to talk about our Week 2 match for the WBE. Very excited to get into this game and show you guys what we got here. And we're up against my boy Dan, aka aDrive, coach of the Minnesota Vikavolts. Been a while since we played, of course. Last time we played was GBA Season 6. And finally, we're going to be rematching each other. We're going to be taking on each other once again in this game. So it should be a pretty exciting one. So he has a team of Landers, Therian, Empoleon, Shaman, Vikavolt, Alola Ninetales, and Mega Gyarados. Kind of the 6 months that I anticipated him bringing. I knew for a fact he'd bring the Ninetales, Gyarados, Lando T, and Empoleon at least. Vikavolt, I had a feeling that was coming for sure. Like, Vikavolt is another mon that I figured would make an appearance, as well as I guess Shaman was a possibility, and he did bring it. But I feel like I'm pretty prepared for his team overall. Of course, my team, if you want to know the sets and all the details of the Pokemon that I'm bringing, be sure to check out the video from yesterday that I uploaded. A link in the description below as always. Shows you guys my team builder and stuff for all the fullest, I guess, analysis of my team. And so, yeah, I figured that one of his Stealth Rockers will likely be either Landers, Therian, or Empoleon. And then one of his Defoggers will likely be either Landers, Therian, or Empoleon, because those are his only two, I think, Defoggers on his team. And those two, like, from the 6 that he brought, would be his potential Stealth Rocker. So I think one of them has to have at least one of them. So we'll have to find out what what's going on here. But my game plan going into this match was to try to get up Stealth Rocks as early as possible. Looking at his team, Pokemon such as Vikavolt, Alola Ninetales, and Gyarados prior to Mega Evolution take 25% from Rocks, and his entire team will get chipped down by Stealth Rocks. So that is definitely a priority to to get up Stealth Rocks in this game. Is something that I really was planning for this match. And I figured that, I guess overall, we have Alolan Muck with Break to smash his Aurora Veil if he tries to set that up. And I guess just try to keep away Aurora Veil, keep Rocks on his side, and I guess try to play it from there and see how we do. And I think Delphox can actually put in a little bit of work too, since his only fire resist that he brought was the Gyarados, and that thing gets chipped by Rocks, by Hail, and whatnot. So I think Delphox is a pretty good matchup in this scenario here. And we just got to be careful not to get swept by Gyarados and potentially the Landers, depending on what set he is. So that's going to be my game plan going into this match. I think his potential lead is either going to be the Landers. If it is Choice Scarf, he would want to lead off with that to try to scout for what I am. Even the Vikavolt, similarly, it can Volt Switch, so it can also scout in that regard. Or even the Ninetales to set up an early Aurora Veil. Possibly the Empoleon could be a lead as well, so that he could get up some Rocks early on, just like I am. So we'll find out what he's going to lead off with here. But I think Cobalion is just my best lead overall because it can deal with so many things. I have a Shuca Berry in case he leads off with Landers. So, I mean, I do have Stealth Rocks, Shuca Berry, as well as HP Ice to deal with Landers. So, yeah, I guess that's sort of my first initial thoughts going into this match. Let's go ahead and see what happens. So let's go ahead and find out what goes on in this game, and I'll show you guys what we got here. So let's begin the game and start this match. Of course, my buddy aDrive going to be challenging me. And this may or may not be his first mistake. You already know. Let's find out. He leads up with the Landers Therian, so I kind of got that right. I do have the Shuca Berry, so I can freely just stay in, even though I'm intimidated, and just get up these Stealth Rocks. Stealth Rocks, like I said, will be really nice to chip down or chip away at his team. And if his Empoleon has Defog, it's going to have to come in at some point, and we're going to try to make sure that we can sort of force it out and sort of threaten it to prevent it from defogging. So we get up those Rocks as he Earthquakes, and he does reveal to be Choice Scarf because he's faster than my Cobalion. Does a good amount of damage too, even though we eat up the Shuca Berry. So I'm actually going to switch out here into my Mega Latias, expecting him to want to switch out into Shaman or any kind of other mon, because I didn't think he'd want to stay in anyways, but Lati was just the best play overall that I could possibly make in that scenario. And because he brought in Shaman, I can just go ahead and Mega Evolve. Shaman cannot do anything to Lati, to Mega Lati, so I'm just going to go right for the Ice Beam. It does a good chunk of damage, a really, really good chunk of damage. It is definitely a 2-hit KO, and he goes right for the Leech Seed here to get some health back. And expecting him not to want to stay in and take another Ice Beam, expecting him to want to go into Empoleon here. I'm actually going to anticipate his switch and switch out here into my Cobalion once again, as he actually does make the switch out into his Empoleon. So this is a play that I make here. I make a really, really aggressive play on this turn here. So I'm going to anticipate him to want to go into his Landers Therian, not wanting to take a close combat or any kind of fighting move. And I predict that, go right for the HP Ice, as you'll soon see here. I go for the HP Ice, and I'm able to do a nice, considerable amount of damage to this Landers, which is amazing. And I'm going to stay in here expecting him not to want to go for the Earthquake, expecting my switch into a Flying type. And he goes right for the U-turn into his Vikavolt, as I just go right for I go right for the close combat here because I want to try to hit something like the Empoleon if it wants to come back in on an HP Ice or something. But that doesn't do much damage because I was intimidated to begin with. But the chip damage from the Stealth Rocks is already putting in work on the Vikavolt, so I'm really happy about that. So here what I'm going to do is go into my Alolan Muck because I want to be able to sponge any hit from this thing. And Muck can really do that because it does have enough Spadef to sponge hits, as well as the Ayapapa Berry to heal itself back up if it gets too low. So he goes out here into his Empoleon, he Volt Switches into his Empoleon, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, let me just go for the knockoff here. Get rid of whatever item it has, and he actually he's able to burn me, which is I guess quite fortunate for him. As I go for the knockoff here, I can get rid of his leftovers, so I can kind of prevent him from residually healing himself turn by turn. So now that I knocked him off, I can go right into my Mega Latias as he goes right for the Toxic, anticipating my switch. That was a good play on his part. Good play on his part, expecting me to switch out into another Pokemon here, since there's no point in me keeping in Alolan Muck at that point, at that time there. So now he's going to switch out here into his Landorus, which does take a chip damage from Stealth Rocks, forcing it to not switch out again unless he is able to defog. That Landorus is going to be it's not going to be able to switch in again because it's going to die from Stealth Rocks. So I decided to switch here into my Cobalion, expecting him to go for either a U-turn or Stone Edge perhaps, not anything but an Earthquake. But he decides that he's going to go for defog here, and it does reveal that he's Scarf Defog. And this is amazing because the way that I brought in Cobalion means that I can just keep setting up rocks over and over again. Because if he decides to switch out, then Landorus is gone. Because if Landorus was his only defogger, then it's at a point where I can literally just keep clicking Stealth Rocks. He just keeps going for the defog for some reason, I guess. Because I guess he was trying to see if I would choke or something and not go for an attack. But my best play was obviously clicking Stealth Rocks because I want to ensure that this thing cannot come back in again once it switches out, because he's locked in. He has less defogs than I have Stealth Rocks. I have more Stealth Rock PP than he has defogs, so I lose nothing by clicking Stealth Rocks at this point. So now he's finally going to realize that and switch out here after a couple turns of going for the defog. And I of course I just keep clicking Stealth Rocks because I want those rocks up. That's my plan. I want those rocks to stay there. And now I'm just gonna go right back into my Mega Latias because I know that I can sponge any hit from the Shaman as he goes for the Earth Power, so it doesn't really affect me at all. And what I can do now is actually I anticipate him to want to go into his Empoleon, but I kind of overpredict here. It's not really too big a drawback for me because Shaman couldn't do anything to me anyway, so it was kind of my better play to try to make the more aggressive move here. So I went for the T-Bolt, but he Leech Seeds me, which is perfectly fine. Like, Shaman's not doing anything to me anyways. I do get whittled down by the poison and the Leech Seed, so he decides here to go into his Landorus Therian to sack it off to the Stealth Rocks, and I just go ahead and take this as an opportunity to go for the Roost and get myself back up to a good amount of health, so that's pretty nice. So it was really a no drawback play there, going for the T-Bolt and trying to anticipate the Empoleon, but I kind of just played myself there for a little bit. But now he goes into his Empoleon here, and I decide I don't want to take poison and leech seed and stuff, so I'm going to switch out here into my Musketeer, my Cobalion, just in case he does have double defog or something, but he doesn't. He just has Stealth Rocks on this thing, so I guess his Empoleon did not have defog. Best defogger didn't have defog, which is crazy. But yeah, he's going to switch out here into his Vikavolt. As of course he gets up his rocks now. Since he can't defog, he might as well get up his own rocks. I just close combat here on his switch out, so now I know for a fact that because I'm not intimidated, Vikavolt will get 2-hit KO'd by this close combat, which is amazing since I don't have to deal with that threat anymore. So Vikavolt goes down to Cobalion, which is amazing, which is really nice. So that's cool. And now, so that thing goes down. He's gonna be bringing out his Alolan Ninetales, and I'm like, okay, this is about time where he's gonna be setting up his Aurora Veil. I don't want to deal with any of that right now, so I'm just gonna go ahead here, and I just decided to switch out here into my Alolan Muck so that I can break this Aurora Veil here. So he does set it up, of course, probably for the Gyarados specifically, because that is likely gonna be his sweeper under Aurora Veil since Landorus was a Choice Scarf, and now that it's gone, you already know he's going to switch out here into his Mega Gyarados, as I just decide to go right here for the Brick Break. He does intimidate me, of course, so he's an Intimidate Mega Gyarados. I go right for the Brick Break, get rid of that Aurora Veil, which is nice. And now I got to go into my counter known as Mandibuzz, known as my Mandibuzz here. So I'm going to switch out here right into my Mandibuzz. It's able to eat up hits from this Gyarados, as you'll soon see. I get that. I get Stealth Rock chip damage, which is fine, I guess, because even though that is the case, I'm a weak armor Mandibuzz, so if he does decide to flinch me with Waterfall or something, then I'll still be faster than it on the following turn. So he does decide to Dragon Dance up here, And now he's +1/+1. Of course, he's gonna go right for I take chip damage, he takes chip damage. So the chip damage from Stealth Rocks and the chip damage from Hail really does help out a lot, because of course, as you'll soon see here, I get the weak armor boost. I give him some Rocky Helmet chip damage, then I go right for the foul play, which does a lot of damage. He's still able to live, but the hail damage will knock him out. And even if the hail damage didn't knock him out, I would still be able to just, I guess, KO the Gyarados with another foul play, because I would be faster than it at +1. I'd be able to outrun it there. So just because I'm faster, I just decide here to give him a Mon. A nice out of courtesy here, just give him a nice Pokemon with that Brave Bird, and so he'll be able to knock me out here as I prevent the Ninetales from switching out anymore, because I put it in range where the Stealth Rocks will knock it out if he decides to switch out here. So I'm gonna go into my Lottie, which is faster than his Ninetales, go right for the T-Bolt, and just be able to knock this out. And his last two Mons are gonna be the Shaman and the Empoleon, so he's gonna go into the Empoleon here, and he's gonna try to he's basically gonna try to Toxic Stall my Mega Latias so that he can get another knockout here, so he can help the differential, I guess, on his side. So he's gonna go into a Shaman as I go for T-Bolt. I'm just basically hitting what's in front of me right now. I kind of turned off my brain at this point. I was like, okay, so I think I just win this game now, so I can just click attacks and try to win. But he's gonna be switching out here back and forth. So he goes back into Empoleon as I go for the Ice Beam on the Shaman. So I was thinking to myself, like, I don't want to go for Ice Beam and then him stay in or something again on him with Empoleon, and then he's gonna switch out once again back into Shaman. So I'm gonna go right here for the T-Bolt, and I decided at this point, I'm like, you know what, guys, I've had enough. I've had just about enough of this right here. I've had just about enough of these plays going on right here. So I'm at 1 HP right now. I decided to preserve my differential, switch out here into my Delphox, and you already know it's about that time. It is about that time to bring out the Delphox here and just finish off this game. He goes for the Leech Seed, which is perfectly fine since it's not doing anything to Delphox anyways, and I can just wrap up this game with a couple flamethrowers. As you'll soon see here, he's going to be switching out into his Empoleon just because he thinks I guess he could probably take the hit, but because I am Choice Specs, going to be doing a lot of damage here. As you can see, it does like around 45 to 50% or something. I thought it would knock it out for sure, but like I guess he was really invested or something in bulk. So I'm just gonna go with the flamethrower once again, knock out this Empoleon, and the last Mon that he has is his Shaman, which I am naturally faster than. Delphox is a really nice speed tier, so we are able to outrun this Pokemon, knock him out with the flamethrower, and win this game. That is gonna be GG. It is Emvee. Hope you all enjoyed this match. GG to my man aDrive, of course. Definitely a fun game for sure. A lot of mind games. I had to really sort of play aggressively versus him to get the upper hand. I mean, his team was like super threatening. Like I knew for a fact his team was something that wasn't going to be really too easy to deal with, because Aurora Veil, even though you can counter it and stuff with Brick Break and Defog and whatnot, he still had a lot of good offensive threats. He had Mega Gyarados, Lando T, and then Vikavolt and stuff. That by itself is just really threatening overall. So I had to kind of play a little bit more aggressively to deal with the threats. Like versus Landorus, I had to HP Ice on that turn so that I could just get rid of that thing, or just at least like make it have more limited turns of coming in, especially when rocks were up. And I guess I just had to get rid of his more offensive threats, and then dealing with his passive threats, or his passive Mons like Empoleon and Shaman and stuff, were a bit easier to deal with, because I had like something like Delphox, which can deal with it. Mega Latias put in a lot of work as well, but I think really Mandibuzz saved the day a lot for us, because that Mega Gyarados, of course, is a Mon that even if it flinched, like we still would have won, but at the same time, just that huge threat, Mandibuzz was able to deal with that. That was like a really pivotal moment in the game, was when Mandibuzz dealt with that Mega Gyarados, and once that Mega Gyarados was gone, he really didn't have any more threats on his team to take advantage of mine. So I think we played really well overall, but hope you guys enjoyed this match overall. I think it was a really solid game, and yeah, that's gonna be it from me. I'm looking forward to hearing from you all as always, and be sure to check out my boy aDrive, of course. I will be watching his side of the game going up. Should be about at around the same time. That we are uploading it together, so that should be nice. And yeah, that's it. So I'll see you guys on the next video, and yeah, I think that's it. I was trying to think of what else to say, but I think I covered pretty much everything for this match. Solid game overall. I think we won this game 5-0. It was a 5-0 win. So we won the first week 4-0, second week 5-0. We're doing really well so far, I'd say. And hopefully we can continue strongly. And of course, shout out to my boy Common Dude for getting me these nice quality replays, as you guys have seen, for a while now, and he'll be continuing to do that. So great friend of mine, of course. Shout out to him. And yeah, that's gonna be it. So I'll see you guys on the next video, and peace.